heard, of course, right here at FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI and on SRN Radio Networks. And, of course, he's in studio live with us today. We never get a chance to talk very much, Fred. I'm so glad you were able to come down.
Mary Jane, thank you so much for having me. I just love coming down here and hanging out with you. You're a fun person to be with. A lot of times I'm with people that's just like,
boring.
Oh, I love coming down and hanging out with you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. How did it all start for you? I mean, why did little Fred Penney want to be a lawyer?
Yeah. Well, I'm not very little anymore is my problem.
Well, Fred Penney grew up, right?
Actually, it all started when I was born. No, it's just teasing. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Those who don't know who I am, I grew up in this area. I was a Penryn boy and wrote that book, Penryn Boys. And
yeah, we talked about that. Was so cool.
Yeah, I'm just a local boy.
You're still a Penryn boy.
I'm just a local dude that just grew up, and it's funny, I go back east. We have offices all over the United States now. So Penney & Associates is our California division, and then Penney, Galbraith, Elder, Brandon is our national firm, and we're in 48 states now.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the firm has taken off. So, and then, as you say, I do a radio show, and as noted, I'm the host of Radio Law Talk, and then we've got USA Radio pick me up as their chief legal analyst. Now I'm doing that.
What kinds of stuff? I bet they asked you about the college admissions scandal.
Okay, I was just recently on about the college admissions scandal, about Kavanaugh, about Bill Cosby. They call me just about everything, and I think there's 400 to 500 stations that they carry. And it's funny because when I first started, I started about 5 months ago, approximately. Someone from, they were in Cincinnati called me. I think it was Cincinnati. I heard you on the radio. I was in the warehouse. I'm like, oh, really? So that's when it really hit me, Mary Jane Popp. Here I am, a little Penryn boy, and they're hearing me all the way down in, who knows where.
Well, that's the magic of radio today with the internet and the, podcasts and everything else that goes along with it. Audio streaming, people can pick you up. They can follow you no matter where you are at their leisure on their phone.
You know what's interesting too is I have people say, oh, you've got to do all the social media, which we do that too. Oh, radio's dead. No, it's not.
No.
People love radio and they still listen. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. And people like radio. And I'll tell you, talk radio is really not going down. People like to hear it.
Well, people always ask me, because I've done radio and television both, and they say, well, which do you like better? I said, radio. Why? Because television is actually easier. You've got video, you've got the body language, the eyes. Radio, everything is voice. And you know what? They can tell when you're trying to put something over on them.
Yeah, not only that, though. And actually, I have a perfect face for radio, too. That's what's good about it. You're beautiful, and I do not have the face for TV. But actually, I did for about 6 months. I was about 22 years old. I had a good face for it. But other than that, I haven't. But I really enjoyed that. What's taking off, too, is Radio Law Talk. What it is a kind of a format of, people who call in, and we're all over Texas. We're in Utah. We're in Northern California, Minnesota, and now they're picking us up in Salem, Oregon, and I just heard Medford's picking us up. It's just booming, Mary Jane. And the good thing about it is you can ask questions. We have fun. It's entertaining. It's exciting. We have a thing called Case or No Case, which is about a case. What that does is that, if our producers, three-time Emmy Award nominee, but never a winner, we remind him of that, Cal Hunter.
He will be after Radio Law Talk.
That's why I'm saying we're going to get him that Emmy Award. And he throws a case at us.
Yeah.
And there's a panel of lawyers, myself, Todd Cunin, and Denise Dirks that sit there. And you've met Denise. She's come up here one time.
She's neat.
And we try to figure out if it was a case or if he's faking it and what the outcome is. And the players or people listening play along also.
So what's your score?
I think the score now, Denise is always first because she's the smartest. And Todd Cunin and I are always second and third because we're really there just to have fun. Denise is the smart one.
She's serious.
Yeah, so she's a little guy of you, but she's the one that takes care of us and makes sure we're doing what's right and we're not screwing off.
Okay.
But she's ahead. She's always ahead. She always wins. So I don't know. I think the score, she's up by 5 or 6 points. And the winner gets our producer's wife's spaghetti, famous spaghetti she makes. So
whoa,
big prizes at the end.
That's
Big prizes.
That's actually a lot more fun than anything else I can think of.
It used to be lemon bars.
Lemon bars.
Yeah, lemon bars, but now it's spaghetti. Yeah, so.
Good Italian spaghetti, you can't get that stuff again.
She's a great cook. You should see the producer. You can see why.
Since we brought up the college admission scandal, do you think either Felicity Huffman or Laughlin, do you think they'll get jail time?
I don't
think they will.
I got to be careful saying because I'm still a lawyer, but the answer is the odds are slim. Why would you put? I got to be very careful in saying this because it sounds like, oh, you're just helping the rich out. This is going on everywhere, by the way. This is nothing new.
Yeah, but if I did it, I'd have my butt in jail already.
Maybe true, but I'm telling you, it'll probably be like a probation or house arrest,
community service. Yeah, right.
But it's interesting. I brought this up on my show. The question is, now I'm going to ask you, Mary Jane Popp, think about this.
Yeah,
the question is, if someone rolls in and says, I'm going to give $10 million in an endowment to USC to do a new engineering wing building.
And they do that.
Okay, and they do that.
Yeah.
But I want my kid going in and getting admitted to USC. Now think about that engineering department and who that affects. That helps everybody in there. It helps the poor, the rich, the middle income people that are using that engineering building to get their education. Now, again, I'm not saying this is what I agree with, but I always, as a lawyer, I like to throw both sides in. So what's wrong with that? Is there something wrong with that?
If you have an idiot kid, that is big time wrong.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's a question we throw out.
If you have a kid that has a brain and they pass the SATs and maybe there's 20 or 30 others that are there and about the same level as they are, okay, this is cool. Then they get a little bit of preference, but not if you changing SAT scores or putting them in a sailing boat and saying that they're sailors.
That's
or
a different
crew.
point. You're exactly
Come
right.
on.
That's a completely
and
different
paying
point.
off coaches.
Yes,
please.
That's different. I agree with that. How can you change their SATs or help them or cheat for them?
No.
That's a no-brainer. That's black and white.
Yeah.
But the issue is getting your kid in on the merits. They're kind of there or close on the bubble, but yet you donate $10 million. That's probably the way the system's been working for a long time.
There are prejudice type things. I mean, did you ever belong to a fraternity?
No.
Go. Neither. I didn't belong to a sorority.
No,
I hated it. I went through a rush and I went, no, not for me.
No.
But they do it there, sororities and fraternities. Right. If their parents were in those sororities or fraternities, they have preferential treatment.
Yeah.
With life. Justice is only as good as you can buy.
Yeah, maybe,
Come on.
maybe not.
If I can afford you, I know I'm going to win.
I know, and that is true. If you can afford the top lawyers, you're going to get a better lawyer. There's no doubt about that. The justice system. I always say this, Mary Jane. It's not perfect.
No.
It has flaws,
yes.
but it's the best in the world.
Okay.
And I thank everybody and the judges for what they're doing because they're making mistakes, but it's not perfect.
Oh, I'm glad you said something about that because judges, I just don't understand why a jury can come back with a verdict and then the judge can say, you guys are stupid, so I'm just going to overturn that and this is going to be the verdict. That's not right.
Remitter and additor. That's what it's called. The remitter is they can take away, or additor is they can add. And that is the law. That's been the law for...
I know, but it's...
Yeah. But juries sometimes...
Then why even have a jury?
Well, sometimes don't... Okay, there's two things, and this is a long discussion, but there's two things you look at. Juries, there's some things juries aren't allowed to hear. That it's a judge. If it's technical or if it's about the law, the judges need to hear that and decide that. The juries sometimes don't. So they'll do what's called a bifurcation. They'll separate the issues. But there is issues of additor and remitter. Now, here's another thing is the famous McDonald's case that everybody talks about, the coffee.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about.
The guy who spilled
it.
How stupid.
But doesn't that sound like a stupid verdict?
Dumb.
But guess what? Read behind the lines, and I've read about this, and I know the background. What had happened is McDonald's kind of rolled in there and kind of made the jury mad, generally speaking, because they said, we'll do what we want. We'll make it as hot as we want. We don't care. But they've been burning people. Well. And so it kind of inflamed the jury. Now, the jury that gave this millions of dollar verdict for the lady spilling the coffee in her lap.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The judge did a remitter and lowered it down. But you don't hear about that on the news.
No.
You don't hear about that in the media. And he lowered it down to a more reasonable amount. So sometimes it's good, Mary Jane. That sometimes it's good.
But sometimes it's bad.
I agree. And it's not perfect. We make mistakes. But,
I understand that.
But I don't make mistakes, but everybody else does.
No, well, Fred Penney's perfect. What's the most difficult case you'd ever had to try?
Oh my gosh. I were just talking about how many cases we've done. I think the firm, we have probably over 10,000 cases we've handled now.
Okay.
And the most difficult case, I don't know. I'm not going to say any of them
were easy.
Well, no, they're all hard.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's the smallest one to the $20 million case, they're all difficult. I have great lawyers. I'm not here pitching me, but I've got super lawyers.
No, you do. That's true.
That we have a lot of the former insurance company head trial lawyers. We just added, since I've been talked to you, I think 4 new lawyers we've added, and it's just, you just have to have good people surrounding you, and that's what I have. But the cases I've handled, everything's difficult.
Well,
Nothing's
and each
easy.
one's important because it's important to the person you're helping.
Exactly, and that's why I tell people all the time, well, this is not a big case for you. You're right. I'm not going to go buy a brand new Bentley because of this, but you know what? It all works out in the wash.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You just help everybody, and it is what it is.
How about a surprising case that just kind of went, oh my God, I don't believe this.
Oh man, you're having me go on the spot here. There's actually there's actually one that
kind of jumps out and grabs you.
Yeah, remember the one that you interviewed me on about the my memory's fading, so I don't remember that. I don't remember the details of it. There's one that actually my partner had that he was on New York Nightly News on, and it was a surprising for a poor baby died in that case, and it was really sad, but that one worked out really well for a family. They're out of Lakeport area.
Oh, okay.
But that one, I don't want to get in the details too much because a lot of it was confidential, the settlements. So,
I understand.
But there's a lot of those that juries surprise me all the time. There's cases we walked in and, man, we're going to win this one, and you get $600. And this other one, you're like, oh, we just lost that case, and whoa, that's a huge verdict. And even we look at it and shake our hands. So that happens all the time. So we tell clients all the time, it's like when you're going before a jury, you're rolling the dice.
Yeah.
You're rolling the dice. You just never know what you're going to get.
So,
you just never know.
Do you ever watch TV, some of the Law and Order types of things? No.
Seriously, I do not.
Why?
Because I don't have time. It's funny, during the O.J. Simpson thing, did you watch it? I'm too busy actually doing it to watch it. So the answer is, no, I do not watch TV.
The reason I ask that, though, is a lot of people, especially lawyers that I talk to, get very frustrated because they said, with NCIS and the CSI stuff, juries have a misconception when they sit there thinking, well, show me the DNA and this will prove everything, no problems.
Not that easy.
And you can't solve a case in 45 minutes, right?
Yeah, let me tell you the funny thing. The things that frustrates lawyers like us, like we do only personal injury, is, well, my uncle's brother's estate planning lawyer told me it was worth this much. Really? Why don't you have him come down and try this case for us, There
you go.
That's the frustrating ones right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you want to accomplish? I mean, you're spreading out your wings. You've got all these lawyers. You've got the firms all over the country now. What would be the ultimate for Fred Penney now?
Get some sleep.
What's your dream?
Get some sleep.
No, you can't. That's
the main thing.
That's
I need sleep.
Not allowed.
I need some sleep is what I need. You know what? I love my radio show. I love the law firm is the mother goose, and I love the firm, and that's what I concentrate on. But the radio. My radio law talk is starting to take off, Mary Jane. It is really moving.
Oh yeah, you're growing
hard and fast.
How many states now? Quite a few states.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know. Again, I've just got a call from. We have an individual that's in charge of all of our affiliate relations, and it's this week. Oh, Salem's picking you up, and it looks like Medford's going to, and Grants Pass, Oregon, and now it looks like Lewiston, Idaho's talking about picking us up, and Connecticut, and Pennsylvania, and it's just starting to move, and it's great. I love it. My passion.
My thing about radio law talk is this. You simplify it. It's the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't try and. I don't speak law. I'm not a lawyer. So talk to me in English. I do this with my Poppoff radio show. If you're a scientist or a lawyer or whatever, or a doctor, don't talk like you're talking to another doctor or lawyer or that. I want simple stuff so I can understand it.
That's exactly right, and that's my theory. I've always been a normal student. Mary Jane. I was never top of the class, but that helps me as a lawyer
to be a human being.
And I'm street smarts, and and that's what jury likes. I know how to talk to a jury, and that's how you win cases, is by talking to a jury, not talking way over their head about this or that of the law. Yep.
Now we've got a lot of stuff coming up, like self-driving cars. Who's going to be held liable if somebody dies in a crash? And it's possible. They've already had some crashes.
No, crashes and lawsuits. In fact, we talk about that on Radio Law Talk. We've talked about it a number of times. And what's interesting, what they're doing is they're experimenting with it. And it's gonna happen. It's going to happen. There's going to be self-driving cars. But guess what they're doing, Mary Jane, that a lot of people don't know is they first were doing it in Arizona, but because of legal issues with the United States, they're now moving these cars to China.
You're kidding.
No, they aren't. Yes, no, I'm not kidding. And yes, they are. They're moving them over there to do their practice stuff and to take their technology.
They don't care how many people they kill there.
I guess the technology, they're going to move it there for now and do the tests in China. And then once it gets perfected, I think they're coming back. There are some here, don't get me wrong, but they're pushing it in that area for liability reasons. And hey, I'm a lawyer in California. It's a fairly litigious state. I'm being truthful with you, and so is the United States compared to China.
Oh yeah.
So
is there any law stuff in China?
I don't know.
They've got a lot of people they can dispose of, so they don't care, I guess.
No comment.
What about the scooters downtown?
Yes.
Now, there are going to be some people running into people with those doggone scooters, and they're all over the place now.
Right. That is a new thing.
How do you find, who do you sue?
Going to worst part about it. Okay. So that's, we're in the cusp of it right now. We're right at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
The issue is, who's going to pay for it?
Who's liable?
Yeah. Well, no, who's liable is the scooter driver, but where's the money? Because as a car, you're required under California to get a minimum of a $15,000 policy. Minimum.
That's right.
And what about someone driving a scooter? They don't have a policy. What's going to take care of those people injured? That's the issue. And I think what's going to happen, Mary Jane, is they're going to start requiring insurance for individuals that ride these scooters, because they're knocking people over. They're injuring them seriously, especially in the Bay Area. And guess what? Oh, I don't have money to pay for this, you know, and well, my leg's broken and I got 20,000 in medical bills. Oh, well,
bad.
I'm broke, and that's why I'm driving a scooter, because I can't afford a car, right? So that's
amazing.
That's going to be coming up pretty soon. I think you're going to see there's some sort of insurance requirements there.
God forbid that we don't have another concert injury like we did in Las Vegas, but it's possible. How many people died? 80-some people died, or whatever, or 50 people? I don't know. The numbers are just astounding. And who do you sue? Do you sue the concert? Do you sue the hotel? Or all of the above? You just kind of bundle them all together?
The answer is all the above.
Yeah?
Everybody's lined up. Everybody's lined up in there. Now, whether you win against one or the other is a different story. And again, I've talked about this on my radio show before. The issue is security. Did you know about it? Was there knowledge? It gets so in depth of what's happening. And are you liable as a business for a third party wacko?
Yes. And that's exactly what they are.
And the question is, doing criminal acts. Mm-hmm. Yes and no. So there are some technicalities that the lawyers did in that we talked about our show probably about 4 months ago. But the issue is everybody's brought out to be liable, and everybody's may not be liable. So they're in the middle of it, and we'll see what happens.
Go on for years.
Well, look what they did. The one appellate court held that Remington may be liable for a shooter. Which for years you can't hold a gun company liable due to the issue of marketing tactics, quote, marketing tactics, not because it's a gun and the gun individuals are liable, but they nailed them under marketing, that you're marketing these guns as weapons of mass destruction somehow. Now this is just an appellate court. It's going to go to the Supreme Court. We're going to see what happens, but that's interesting.
Yeah. Oh no. And like, it's going to go on for years. Those cases are going to go on for years.
Well, it makes lawyers money. That's what's important.
Thank you. Oh yes, of course. And of course, then we have to deal with all the gosh dang lawyers in Washington D.C. Isn't everybody in Congress a lawyer? Pretty much.
The answer is no, but almost, it seems like. But I'll tell you one thing I always tell people right now. In fact, I was on a very conservative talk show host. I'm trying to think. Talk show. I've been on a number of talk shows. They bring me on, and he was bringing that stuff up, and I kind of said to him, "Look, why would you ever want to go into politics now, Mary Jane? I would never go into politics. It's just, and I know they say that's a bad attitude, Fred, because you're there to help, but it's a quagmire, and it's just landmines. You can't. I mean, if I was at Penryn back in 1970s and did something to my old friend, they'll find it. Well, no, Penryn, I'm not quite sure they'd find it, but anywhere else they'll find it.
And that's another thing with social media. Be careful what you say and who you say it to. Same thing with emails. It doesn't make any difference. How do we get the young people to understand that?
It's interesting. The other day, someone said, my name's Fred Penney, and they go, what was it? I said, Fred, like Fred Flintstone. And you know, we weren't in the old days. Remember the old days? You used to blow a whistle, and the dog would tilt its face and its ears. Yes. That's exactly what this millennial kid looked at me. Fred, as in Flintstone.
Okay.
Like you know what a Rat Pack is? No. So who knows? That's just.
But it does, and it can follow you the rest of your life. And I mean, getting jobs. You think your employees or employers can now go on social media and find out everything about you.
Yeah, you have to be careful about social media, and it's a catch-22 for me because I'm kind of more out in the public.
Oh yeah.
And so the social media is important to my marketing team.
Sure it is.
But in a way,
you got to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, but I gotta stay.
How does Fred Penney do that? Come on,
I can't. That's my problem. I can't shut my mouth. My wife wishes I would, but
you have to be the honest person that you are. You can't be something fake. That's not Fred Penney.
I can't put it in neutral. I don't know what's wrong with me, Mary Jane.
There's nothing wrong with you.
I can't put it in
That's
neutral.
normal. I always say that's why on the air and off the air, you and I are the same person, and that's a neat part because I don't want to lie to anybody because if I do, I forget who I lied to.
Yeah, the thing is the thing called ADD. All ADD and add up all the others. Those are all me. Okay. You just throw them all on there. That's me. And I feel sorry for those people around me. Oh my God.
What's the most interesting cases that you cover on Radio Law Talk? What do they ask most about?
Gosh, everything. The funnest cases we have, in my opinion, are the Hollywood ones. I'm going to say probably the most interesting, fun one we've ever do, and we're still covering it, is Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is so interesting because he's so wealthy, and yet he's suing his management team, his lawyers. His lawyers are cross-complaining against him, the management against him, and then they go into what his spending habits are, and he's claiming they lost money from. They're going, wait a minute, you're spending $300,000 a year just on wine, and it's just amazing. We
can't even fathom that kind of lifestyle. No way.
The money is just unfathomable. But what it comes down to is it's just crazy. And just recently, we just talked about his wife divorced him and is saying some stuff about him that's negative, and now he's suing her for defamation for $50 million. And did you know $50 million? I think it's 50 or 30. I got to look double. I think it's 50. But did you know that the new movie coming out for Disney, the new Pirates, he's not slated to come on.
No.
And the reason is he's claiming it's because his wife defamed him and tried to claim some,
It's called Johnny, you're getting too old to do it.
I don't know what it is, but there's lawsuits flying everywhere, and I tell you, lawyers make money off Johnny Depp. I tell you, and it makes good radio for us. So we're always talking about Johnny Depp. I mean, it's just like, oh, Johnny. Well, Weinstein, that's always a topic. We can talk about that every Saturday, but sometimes like, oh, we can't talk about that one again.
Does anybody ever come up about the president?
Yeah, the answer is rare. We're politically neutral. We stay politically neutral on Radio Law Talk because we discuss the issues. Don't get me wrong. Doesn't mean Denise isn't going to say a more left and I'm going to say something more right and Todd the middle, or I'll take the left next time. And so as lawyers, you argue. Doesn't matter which side. I can argue either side. Yeah. So, but we want to hear all sides. We just don't want to hear the Republican sides, the Democrats, or the independent sides. We want to hear all sides.
But you know what? That's not radio. I'm so glad you do that because that's not radio anymore. Either it's one or the other. It's either I'm going to be a conservative politician or in the politics, or I'm going to be a liberal, and there's no in the middle. And yet independents are more plentiful than all these others. I don't understand it.
You want to hear something interesting? Is I'm on shows quite a bit. Like I said, I was on the Wells Report and some other. Wayne Allen Root, nice guy, very conservative. They always get me and try to get me to say, so Fred, what? They always try to get me to throw something political, and they want to get my political aspirations or what I think
they
politics.
They want to nail you.
They do. It's so great because I go, I'm not going to be political, and I just won't let them do it. But there's a lot of things. It's interesting how they'll say Trump's doing this and that, and then yet I'll pull out. Well, so did Clinton. Did the same thing exactly, and then we'll bring it out, and it's the same, or vice versa. Obama did this. He's bad. Oh, really? Trump's doing it too right now. So for me, I find both sides, and I can point out, okay, they're both wrong. So I love just throwing both sides into the mix.
Doesn't that make it crazy? It's just nothing but a blame game. Everything is a blame game. The other guy did it. It's their fault, not mine. I don't know how we're ever going to get them together, do you?
Well, the lawyers are making money. That's what's important.
Oh, boy, and how. They got a whole bunch of
It's all about the lawyers. My dad told me, I was a farmer. He was a former police officer, a Marine, and a farmer out of Penryn. And I said, I want to be a farmer and rancher, Dad. And he said, son,
nah,
he goes, go be a lawyer. You can buy all the ranches and farms you want. Oh, he was right.
Yeah.
He was right.
I love it. Why don't you write a book? In your spare time, Fred.
The second one's done, Mary Jane.
You're kidding.
Half done, half written, and the other half is outlined of Penryn Boys we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's called He's Back, and everyone's trying to get me to finish it. I just can't sit down and do it. I don't have the time.
Get yourself a ghostwriter. Everybody else does.
Actually, I might be doing that. I mean,
I
just can't.
There are so many. I loved Rush. I mean, Rush and I used to work together at KFBK, and everybody goes, well, Rush wrote a book. I said, no, he didn't. He had a ghostwriter.
That's exactly right.
I know the ghostwriter.
I have to do that. You're right. I've got to do that. But
it's still your thoughts and ideas.
I've got it all outlined.
There you go.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, I'll just put it on the list, and that'll be 4,933 now of things to do. And that's my list.
I love it. Tell them what time Radio Talk is on.
So Radio Law Talk, it's all over the place, but it's live 9 to noon Pacific time. And we have our own studio here in Placer County. It's all based out of Placer County. It's shot out of the headquarters in Dallas, but everything starts right here in Placer County. But 9 to noon Pacific time. Listen live, and I think we replayed here at KAHI, I think in the afternoon on Sunday or Saturday.
Saturday.
I can't keep up with who's playing it when, what, but listen to it, or you can go live. You can listen to it live on our www.radiolawtalk.com.
Cool.
And it says listen live. You can listen live wherever you are, and you tweet in, man. We tweet us and at Radio Law Talk, and I'm not pitching it, but it's a fun show. We laugh and have a great time.
What kinds of things do people talk about in their tweets about you?
Everything. Oh, usually it's case or no case, to be honest with you.
Really?
It's case or no case.
Yeah.
They always want to comment on case or no case, and they want to say X, Y, or Z, they think. But that's the funnest thing, and what people like the most is case or no case. And the music is just cool. It's just a cool, fun thing, case or no case.
I think we all have a fascination with the law. We really do. We don't understand it, but we have a fascination with it.
And it could be fun.
Yeah.
And funny.
And I want to know just last thing, because we only have about a minute left, not even a minute left here. Why is it that I can never be on a jury? Because as soon as they find out you're on the air and have an opinion, bye, you're out of here.
Yeah, they don't want people with opinions. No, actually, you're supposed to be neutral, rocking in, and they may think that for some reason you're a host and you're going to lean one way or the other, and that's why you're off. And that happens all the time. That's just the way it is.
That's life, huh?
That's life. But just tell them, I want to be on one, please. Fred Penney said I'm a good person.
Forget it. Hell, now you kidding? They're going to really throw
they're going to boot you for sure. Well, thanks for having me.
Hey, Fred, it's been a pleasure having you. Would you come back again? We can spend a whole hour together.
I know.
Time.
We can hang out and eat breakfast and eat lunch and then chit-chat.
You betcha. I love it. Thank you so much, Fred.
You're welcome.
Keep up the good work. If they want more information about Fred Penney and Associates, they go to
PenneyandAssociates.com. That's my law firm, or RadioLawTalk.com.
Love it. In the meantime, folks, live simply, laugh often, love deeply, and above all else, you dare to dream. Talk with you next time right here on Poppoff.